think we can look at that in that context for our time, that there's a lot of emotional trouble that we experience, bruising himself with these stones. And this hurt, this rage that's in him, trying to break, he can't be controlled. It's just taking possession of his life. He's this angry person breaking free from these chains. And then this calling out, this yelling and screaming that would scare the people. If he had just dealt with his issues quietly and left everyone alone, that would be nice. If he's emotionally troubled or he's possessed, he's looking for some kind of freedom from this. And so he is among the tombs, yelling and screaming out in the dark at night. And where do we hear this in our time but the rage of our age? We look at the feminists. They're not people that are at peace. Look at the Women's March that just happened a few weekends ago. That is not beautiful. It's very ugly. The things that they're wearing, the things that they're saying, there's nothing sacred. The hats that they put on and the things that come out of their mouths, the things that come out of a woman's mouth. And I would dare to say, men aren't justified saying any of the same thing. Sometimes we can handle it if a man says these things, but when a woman says some of the things that were being said in the context of that Women's March, it's vile. It's deeply offensive. And it rocks us to the core of who we are. Because women bring a dignity to us. Women bring a sense of morality. They keep the compass for us. And to see that thrown out of sync is very troubling. So this feminist rage that gets yelled out. If we look at the homosexual subculture, and let me emphasize that word, the subculture, not the homosexual person, but this subculture, the things that happen in their pride parades, the things that they also yell out at times against the church. Father Mark just shared with me yesterday evening. He was in San Francisco for the Walk for Life. And they get very aggressive anti-pro-life protesters. And these individuals are saying some pretty horrendous things. And he said, there you are as a priest, and our own brother John ran into this, that someone just yells out, how many children have you abused today? This is what they do to silence the church. You have no right to say anything about the sanctity of life or the morality of our nation because of the sin of a few. That's the sadness of what happened with our clergy. But it's not even just towards priests. We hear about, again, Father Mark shared this. He said, you have these families with little children, you have older people, you have this great witness of life. People are joyful in trying to defend the sanctity of life, and they'd come to intersections, and he said he didn't understand the motivation, people putting down their window. And he said, you don't even know where they get this energy from, just yelling out some of the most aggressive, vile things, because there's such an anger. And where is this coming from? Again, it's this rage of our time. And Jesus stands in the face of that. This is what we want to recognize in this passage today, that the Lord, in his authority and in his power, wishes to confront that and to give us peace and to bring our age peace, to look at all of these individuals, whether it be the addict, whether it be our young people, whether it be these people caught up in these different agendas, to cast out that darkness and to have this find that we all find ourselves sitting like this man, clothed and in our right mind. So the Lord restores peace, and he brings us into the light. That's what he wishes to do for all of us. And so this man then wants to come along with the Lord. And Jesus is not looking at him and saying, buddy, after what I saw, I don't want you around me. That's not what Jesus is saying. He's telling him, now you be a witness among your people. Here the Lord is, and what are we told? St. Mark says he goes and he witnesses throughout the Decapolis. The Decapolis are these 10 cities, 9 on the east side of the Jordan, the other on the west. But they're like this little co-op that they created, or this conglomeration, each an independent city, but they clung together to preserve their Greek way of life. And Jesus is saying, no, you go among your people and you tell them what it is that the Lord did to you and in your life by showing you mercy, by showing you pity. And this is going to invite them ultimately. Already we see that Jesus is being sent away from that area. But there he was already beginning to step foot to say, I have come to preach the gospel, to bring the gospel to the whole world, not just to the chosen people. So he's telling this man, you go and begin to plant that seed, and you be a witness for Christianity. One of the commentators on this scripture says that this man was to be a living, walking, vivid, unanswerable demonstration of what Christ can do for us. Our glory must always be not in what we can do for Christ, but in what Christ can do for us. And the unanswerable proof of Christianity is a recreated human being. The unanswerable proof of Christianity is a recreated human being. Many of us know a recreated human being. We're all recreated human beings. But many of us know someone who has been radically transformed by the power of Christ. And the witness that they are in our world, the witness they are to us. Talk to anyone who's come out of addiction. We've known them before, and we know them after. And we say, only God could do this. And that's this witness, this proof in the world, this power in the world that we give witness to say, I could not do this myself. But this is what God did in me because he showed me mercy, because he showed pity to me. And such an invitation that is, that we are attracted to that, to say, I want that same mercy. I want that same pity shown to me.